Episode 271 Drama and Intrigue at the Scholasticate. An unexpected hostage situation has forced us to go to this secluded corner of Corvus to try to find Kramervaw's family's secret family heirlooms or something to use as ransom. It's already very exciting, and I'm pretty sure we're just still on the first set of quests that came out with the first patch that the Scholasticate questline was introduced. I could have done these in the order that they were released in, the same way that I did. Oh no, we do actually have to get into battle. Well, fine. Yeah, I could have done these quests in the same order that they released in the patches, like the same way that I've been doing most of the side content in the game. Just doing all the patch content alongside each other. Like all the raids from patch 3.1, all the side dungeons from patch 3.1, etc, etc. This would have been the side quests that came out with patch 3.1 if we're still in that set of quests, but I kind of prefer doing quests like these and the Heldervan quests all at once rather than splitting them up between patches. I have what we came for. Now then, let us pray that Freckles is still alive and well. So I guess there's a little bit of fighting in these questlines. Not that I'm complaining, I was just kind of getting in the mood of role-playing that Komoi wasn't doing any fighting for these. That she actually put away her weapon and wasn't using it. If I did have a weapon for this getup as a janitor, what would it be? Maybe machinist would make the most sense? We are kind of wearing the same colors as my machinist look. Sort of. If I were this, with the gun, well, that would just kind of mess up all of our glamours, but I can at least see what it looks like. Where is that? Which one was this one? That's not bad. A janitor with a gun, I mean, that's not like... It's like the least obtrusive weapon for a modern-day janitor, I guess, comparatively. The other options would be, I don't know, a pickaxe, maybe, or the axe. Plumber with a pickaxe or an axe. I'm not sure what else in the Final Fantasy XIV universe would fit a plumber. And even this gun is a bit too ornate, isn't it? Well, it doesn't really matter, we're not going to pull out our weapons for much more of this episode anyway. Although this kit on the left side, on the left hip, it kind of matches the janitor look. Like another toolkit around the belt. Whatever. That might be the last time we ever have to fight in this quest line. We don't have to go full RP, we're fine. You need not worry about me. I promise I will not move an elm. It's about time. I'm freezing, and had half a mind to skin this one to keep warm. Now then, hand it over. Here you are. The entire fortune that was bequeathed unto me. Share it with your people as recompense, starting with the families of the bereaved. On behalf of House Mainteny, I am truly sorry. Theo, Fury for Fend, what have you gotten yourself into this time? I swear, I leave you alone for but a moment. I was never in any danger, Lay. I prayed to the Fury, and by her hand was Kramerval returned to me. I am terribly sorry to have involved you in my personal affairs. I should have known that the lives of my family would not be enough to sate the small folks' thirst for revenge. Think nothing of it. I too lost my father, so if you ever have need to speak about it, you can confide in me as friend. My father sought to curry favor with the Holy See, and so he raised great levies to send to the front lines. Honor was his prize, but it was bought with the blood of his subjects, and eventually his own. The small folk had come to resent his demands for service, and when the truth of the war was revealed, they revolted. The mob overran the manor guard, and my father and 5 brothers perished at their hands. Pretty brutal. Had I not been sent away, I would have surely died with them. Kind of fitting this shot here, with that tattered flag in the background. Our fortunes had grown poor during the calamity, or following the calamity, you see. And since I was the youngest, father bid me leave to make my own way. So I enrolled in the scholasticate with the hopes of becoming a bishop, to bring honor to myself and my house. But now, no, there's no use dwelling on what could have been. We must look to the future, and do what we can to make Ishgard whole again. Every moment is sacred, and you help me to see that, Theo. Consider me your friend and ally. And this guy. Well said, Krembavar, well said. Together you may yet bring about lasting change. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Without the endorsement of the scholasticate and the support of our peers, no one will listen to us. What's more, I still haven't heard anyone explain how we're supposed to get seats on the Trinity. Ishgard wasn't built in a day, Lay. Besides, we still have plenty of time to work something out. See, I knew he wouldn't take this seriously. Calm yourself, Lay, and keep an open mind. Now let us return and discuss our next course of action. Oh, I nearly forgot. Inspector Byardian was looking for you at the cathedral. He wished to speak with you regarding his investigation, I believe. But seriously, that Kramerval guy? His father and 5 brothers murdered in their own home by mob justice. And he seemed so carefree. No one's just a trope. Well, it's sort of like a bunch of tropes mixed in, I guess. That's how you write this sort of thing, right? The whole high school musical sort of thing. The jock that wants to sing and dance and all that junk. A bit more complicated than that when we're involving mob justice and people dying here, but still. Well then, my associate, have you anything to report? Yeah, we've got a story to tell you. A former subject of House Maintenance demanding recompense for the misdeeds of Kramerval's father. How fortunate that the situation was resolved peacefully. My investigation has been less productive, unfortunately. I thought to speak with Ula, a student who withdrew from the scholasticate, but I cannot find her anywhere. The same must be said of the infamous Volume 11, which contains passages extolling the virtues of equality. Like the girl, it has vanished without a trace. Again, huh? Someone really has it out for that book. The circumstances surrounding these incidents suggest deliberate intent. Someone may be attempting to turn this tenuous state of affairs to their advantage, but if so, then to what end? For 1,000 years, a sickness has ravaged our city. It has festered within the hearts and minds of our citizens, and in our clergy especially. Treating it will be a long and arduous process, but an altogether necessary one. Our role in that process is clear: to diagnose the root of the scholasticate's ailments. If there are malicious forces at work, then it is our duty to see justice done. Oh, I think this would actually be, yeah. Maybe I could have gone on longer the last episode, but in a time of unrest when the light of truth was lost to the righteous, the children looked to one another for guidance, that they might walk in her grace. Yeah, that's the end of the patch 3.1 quests that all released together. Yeah, if I went a bit longer last episode, then I could have kind of nicely ended the episode right here, but whatever. If it isn't my trusted associate, yeah, as if time has passed, back from the field. As you will doubtless have seen for yourself, change is sweeping throughout Ishgard, and the veil which once threatened to smother the hearts and minds of our people is slowly but surely being lifted. And again, this would have been with 3.2, so this would have been during the whole Dragon Song War post Heavensward patch quest stuff. So during that, people would have started to change their minds and all that. Did I read that? Yeah. 'Tis as if our fair city has been born anew, and it is in large part thanks to you. Which is not to say our problems have come to an end. No, the silent struggle between the lowborn and the highborn goes on, growing more fractious by the day. Fractious. Not sure what that word is, fractious. Maybe troublesome, or I don't know, like friction or something. That's not what it's derived from. Not sure what it might be derived from, like fraction, fractal, no clue. I have come to believe that someone, somewhere, is fanning the flames of hatred to further their own ends. And I'm convinced, now more than ever, that Olaf's sudden disappearance, alongside that of Volume 11 of the Articles of Halonic Polity, is no mere coincidence. Both she and it, after all, are passionate advocates of equality among men. As to who is responsible and what their true intentions might be, I cannot say. Ascertaining these things will no doubt require that we first find the missing girl, and as of this moment, our best hope of learning her whereabouts may rest on discovering the fate of the book. It all comes back to the book, again. As such, I shall continue searching for any clue which might lead us to the missing tome. In the meantime, I ask that you trouble the students for any information they might have on Ola. Failing that, find out if they have witnessed any unusual occurrences around the Scholasticate. Anything at all? Well then, let us be about it. Even the most seemingly insignificant oddity can be all it takes to crack a case. In any event, there's a good chance that whatever the students have seen or heard will offer us some clue as to the culprit's next move. Alright, back to the Scholasticate. Janitor coming through. We got a few people to talk to. It does seem like characters are moving around. There's no longer this one kid crying in the corner for some reason. We never find out why. I guess. Lacey has been so distracted lately. I'm lucky if I can get a simple good morning from her. Ever since Ula left, she's been rushing about the city like a madwoman, looking for any information she can find on the girl, that she might have an excuse to talk to Thiamacent. It's been quite lonely without Lazy to keep me company. I'll stay lonely. It's not like we're gonna keep you company. Though some were shocked by the news of Ula's departure, our combatant has worked tirelessly to reassure the student body that it is all for the best. Really? Someone's missing, and you say it's for the best? How many times must I say this? Ula was not coerced into leaving, nor was she abducted, nor did she die from a fictitious disease. She quit the Scholasticate of her own free will, for reasons known only to her and the Fury. Really? Is it so difficult to understand? I'm so sure. I should not complain, I suppose. Since Ula departed, those boom rats have scarce shown their faces here, and the Scholasticate has been much the better place for their absence. Were it not for these infernal rumors, everything would be exactly as it should be. The lessons of Volume 11 seemed to resonate deeply with Ula. She would often stay up into the small hours reading and rereading them. Mayhap they spurred her to steal away in the night and take up with the revolutionaries. For some, merely to learn is enough. Others, meanwhile, feel compelled to put everything or every teaching into practice. Needless to say, Ula falls into the second category. I only pray that her misguided actions do not have any long-term repercussions for the Scholasticate. While I cannot claim to have seen anything unusual exactly, I will say that things have not been the same here since Ula left. Somber doesn't do it justice. The only really unexpected change I've seen of late is in Lei's attitude towards Kramerval. He really seems to have warmed to him. Why, he even went as far as to initiate a conversation the other day. He spoke to me, 'tis true, but 'twas not out of fondness. He merely hates me very slightly less than he values Ula's safe return. Don't believe a word of it. Lei's come to fancy Kramerval nearly as much as he does Thiamacent. Oh, we got a triangle going on here? What a trio, those three. The pretty boy, a kind of jockish... what's his name again? Lei. Kind of think of Lei as a jock, Thiamacent as a nerd, and Kramerval, I guess, musician, pretty boy, whatever that would be as a stereotype. There's like a name for it, I'm sure. One of the students told me she'd been diagnosed with something called lung rot, and that she's too weak to attend any of her classes. Thinking back, I did hear her coughing from time to time, but I had no idea it was anything so serious. Gods, I hope whatever she has isn't contagious. I used to sit near her in the library. Did we ever hear her coughing, like, during the first set of quests? Because if this is like tying in, which it seems to be implying it is tying in, then maybe they seeded some kind of, I don't know, some plot line during that first part of the quest. Welcome back, Mistress Moriko. What a pleasant surprise it is to see you. How might I be of service to you this day? Thiamacent, in the wake of Ula's withdrawal, he and they have devoted their every waking moment to the task of uncovering her whereabouts. They are quite adamant that the girl must be found, and persuaded to resume her studies here. As a matter of fact, they approached me earlier today, to beg leave to travel to Gorgonne Mills, claiming that a trip there would yield the information they needed to accomplish their aim. No sooner had I granted their request than they rushed off. Such compassion and eagerness to serve others is a rarity even among the clergy. I cannot tell you how proud I am of what fine young men they've become. I know only that they intended to travel to Gorgonde Mills. They left me no time to inquire further. And you again. No wait, we got you. Okay. Yep, that's everyone. Well, I guess we're heading out of the city again. Actually doing this more often than I would have thought. Quite a distance. No faster way to get there unless we somehow went from the Sea of Clouds. I guess while we're flying. Not this. I did actually get more barding for the Chocobo. Just like randomly through the Ashgardian Restoration, I think. Or it might have been through one of the coffers that you get from the Grand Company. We got this one for Sephiroth. Kind of topical considering we recently fought Sephiroth. The nice thing about it is the arms on the front. Makes your Chocobo look very tough. I don't think we'll stick with this armor for very long though. Just for now because it looks funny. Here? Why here? Don't tell me she's dead. Did she actually die of lung rot? Do my eyes deceive me? Surely that can't be you, Komoy. What brings you to Gorgonde Mills? I could ask you the same thing, and I think we are. Komoy, is it really you? That we should be reunited thus amid the snowy peaks of Cortis is... Why, it is nothing short of a miracle. I sense the hand of the divine at work. Halonic has answered our prayers. Theo, Komoy has no idea what you're talking about. By all means explain, but do it slowly, and from the beginning. My apologies. Excitement got the better of me. Komoy, this is the resting place of Father Koiso, the man who found room in his heart for two waifs from the street, granting them the opportunity to rise above their station in life. Do you perchance recall the book that was stolen from Theo and burned by that lost soul we once thought of as a brother? It was one of the last mementos we had of the man. Now all that's left to remind us of him is this place. Indeed. And while we often come here to seek solace and guidance in his blessed presence, today our purpose is more practical. With our search for Ola at an impasse, we had hoped he might grant us inspiration. And that is why I believe our meeting with you here, in this our hour of need, is a sign from above, mayhap the work of Father Koiso himself. I take from this that we are not meant to bear this burden alone, that the obstacles we face can only be surmounted by working in concert with others. Ola's disappearance has thrown the Scholasticate into turmoil, and the long-simmering mistrust between those of noble and ignoble birth has boiled over into outright hatred. Now more than ever, we must seek to join hands with like-minded souls who understand that this malice will only serve to sow further discord, like-minded souls such as you. I don't know if Komoy exactly believes in Halonic or whatever, but sure, we'll help out, just because you're so cute. I am reminded of the words of Volume 11 of the Articles of Halonic Polity. Of the Fury's love will all men receive, and by the balance of her spear will all be set free. We must strive to love our neighbor, even as we love ourselves, just as Halonic does. To do otherwise is to defy her will. Yes, And while we will surely be rewarded for our tolerance, the highborn bastards who would sooner pretend that passage doesn't exist won't be so lucky. Why, they may even find themselves on the receiving end of her spear for everything they've put us through. Bahaha. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself, aren't I? We still haven't found a single clue as to Ola's whereabouts. Fear not, Lei. With Komoy at our side, I have faith that we shall find her, and that she will soon retake her rightful place in the hallowed halls of St. Endelin's Scholasticate. I hope you're right. At any rate, we've done what we came to do, so there's no point freezing our arses off out here. Until we meet again, Komoy. So that's the reason they came out here, not for any practical reason. It's kind of endearing, the way that Dio has this sort of, what's the word? Theological view on things, not theological, spiritual view on things, that we just happen to come by the Fury's grace and all that. And I mean, he puts a positive outlook on things, like a positive spin on things, so it's not like he's so pious to the point that he has to push it onto everyone else. I guess that's the nice thing about religious things like that, when you just have a positive outlook on life because of it, and don't necessarily make that everyone else's problem. Should we talk to this one? It pains me greatly to see the nonchalance most students... It pains me greatly to see the nonchalance most of the students here have displayed regarding Ola's disappearance. It seems they are too busy to feel concern for anyone but themselves. A very impious attitude to take, if you ask me. As pupils of the seminary, it is our burden to put another's needs before our own. Mistress Moriko, I trust you were able to find the Omniscient and Lei. Yeah, we found them. I see, yes. The two of them have always shared a special bond with Father Khoiso. Again, Choiso, Croissant, just gotta go with Khoiso, I guess. One that only seems to have grown stronger with his passing. It is encouraging to see that they have taken their lessons to heart, and continue to work so fervently for the good of their fellow students. I fear, however, that a dark and treacherous path lies ahead of them. I only pray that when the time comes, they are ready for whatever challenges await. Let's see what challenges await. Mistress Moriko, just the woman I was hoping to see. I'm sorry to say that a rather disturbing rumor has been circulating around the Scholasticate of late. One which claims that our combatant has arranged for Ola to be, taken away. That the boy scorns those who favor different interpretations of the scriptures I do not deny, but I labor to believe he would go so far. To engage in such conduct would risk not only his own position as a prefect, but the very honor of House Samael, both of which mean a great deal to him. Regretfully, no one seems to know whence these ridiculous rumors came. They could have been concocted by anyone, and for any number of reasons. In any event, with many still unsure what to make of Ola's sudden withdrawal, these wild accusations have only served to deepen the divide between our seminarians. At this rate, I fear others may decide they no longer wish to remain at the Scholasticate. And so I would be most grateful if you would consent to investigate this matter. Should you oblige by my request, I suggest you begin by speaking with Seversor. I am told he has spent the past few days looking into Ola's activities. Prior to her departure, likely with the intent to absolve our combatant of suspicion. Seversor will be in the pillars, like as not. He often goes there to ruminate. Anything new to say? 'Tis a true pity. While the Scholasticate isn't known for its warm and inviting atmosphere, never has it been so austere. If Blazy were here, things would be a tad more bearable, but she has very little time for me as late. Seems like everyone is kinda changing their dialogue a little bit. I too have once checked out Volume 11 of the Articles of Halonic Polity. When I went to return it, however, I had the misfortune of being spotted by one of our most conservative seniors. After being reprimanded for hours on how the far-fetched notions pen within corrupt the mind, I shan't be caught dead with it again. Kind of gave the wrong inflection on that, whatever. Until recently, the students paid little heed to Volume 11's existence. It was only once it vanished off the shelves along with the law that their interest was finally piqued. As one of the few to have leafed through its pages, I am now constantly being besieged with questions. What they fail to realize is that a single sweep of this text does not constitute a deeper understanding of what is written within. Volume 11 and O Law. Why are these things so important to everyone? Why'd you have to disappear? It seems like it was more than just for the sake of decreasing the amount of... What was this one thing? Oh, that's Alexander. Thought that was some guy. But yeah, her disappearance at first seemed like it was just for the sake of decreasing the amount of guys that Kremerval brought back for the competition. But now that the competition is over, it feels like her disappearance probably had to be due to something else. I'm going like a long way around. Let's teleport over here. Probably down here. No. Over here. It's never sore, so he should be near half a mile, right? Although that's over, like, here. I'm sure he's just down over here. Looking out over the landscape, as you do. No, Artuaro is doing that. No wait, so is Cybersaur. Let me guess. You caught wind of the rumors, and thought you would come and investigate, yes? Yeah, you're in trouble. Well, I'll have you know that our combatant is innocent. He has nothing, absolutely nothing, to do with any of this nonsense. I have known him since childhood, and while he might occasionally seem somewhat high-handed, yeah, occasionally somewhat, mayhap even callous, he would never do anything to harm anyone. If that is not enough, there is also the fact that in the days and weeks prior to Ulaw's disappearance, I was not out of his company for more than a few moments. He could not possibly have committed the crime of which he is accused without my knowledge. Oh yeah? That just makes you an accomplice. Wait, hang on. The days and weeks prior to Ulaw's disappearance. Not out of his company for more than a few moments. Do you guys live together? I guess they might share the same dorm room. Or more. Whoever orchestrated all of this clearly planned for the blame to fall squarely on his shoulders. That much is certain. Yet numerous as the enemies of House Samael are, I struggle to think who would resort to something so underhanded. Unless it was the girl herself, don't you see? What better way to besmirch the good name of one of Ishgar's foremost houses, and win over your peers than to vanish and later spread rumors that he was somehow responsible, and then to go and plant... That is to say... Oh, by the Fury, I pray I am not making a mistake. But first I would have you swear to tell none but the Inspector what I am about to reveal. Okay, we'll bite. I stumbled across this, Volume 11 of the Articles of Halonic Polity. It had been conspicuously placed in Arcombatant's dormitory room, with Olah's favorite bookmark tucked between his pages. I need hardly tell you what would happen if people were to learn of this. 'Tis but a mercy that I chanced upon it, and not one more credulous. However, now that we have deduced who the perpetrator is, it should be simple enough to restore Arcombatant's reputation. All we need to do is prove she and her revolutionary friends are responsible. Were I braver and more foolish man, I would march down to the broom and demand answers. But you, a hero blessed with the strength of 100, need not fear for your well-being, there as I do. You are my only hope. Please, I beg of you, take the book, and use it to find the girl and prove these foul rumors false. Yeah, sure. I mean, this guy always turned his nose up at us, so we're not exactly doing him any favors. But I guess he presents an interesting case. I mean, everyone's a suspect up until the very end, right? Even the victim. He said the broom, right? No, we're just talking to, yeah. We're talking to, the old inspector first. Get his opinion. Somehow I doubt the victim is actually the culprit in this case. Let's see what Priority thinks. Ah, Komoy, you are returned. Please tell me your inquiries have been more fruitful than my own. Yeah, we did your job. We found Volume 11 of the Articles of Halonic Polity. With how much this is coming up, this might be the title of the episode. The infamous tome of parables on equality said to have mysteriously vanished off the library shelves, shortly prior to Olah's equally inexplicable disappearance. It's the missing volume. However did you find it? You won't believe it. Or you will. So Lebrasseur believes that Olah, or one of her revolutionary friends, planted it in Arcombatant's room as part of an elaborate scheme to defame House Samael. I continue to be amazed by what ridiculous conspiracies these children can convince themselves are true, as if the future of Ishgardian society shall be shaped by the actions of some few ambitious seminarians. Anyway, I will allow that she may have been consorting with others who supported the Reformation, and were she persuaded to engage in rebellious acts, the dormitory prefect would have been an ideal target. Alternatively, Arcombatant was so arrogant and careless that he thought nothing of leaving incriminating evidence in plain sight. He would hardly be the first. Needless to say, speculation will avail us not at this juncture. First, I must see what I can learn from this book. In the meantime, I would have you go and speak with the people of the room, see what they know, if anything, about Olah. Where she might have gone, whom she might have visited, and so forth. Failing that, keep your ears open for news of unusual happenings. One can never be too well informed. If a young woman like Olah has spent any time in the room, someone is bound to have taken notice. Nevertheless, if you fail to learn aught of value, it may be prudent to ask for the latest gossip. I'm sure everyone's eager to gossip with the janitor. Just a lone, unassuming janitor, not the warrior of light or the savior of Ishgard in the slightest. Oh wait, someone below first. This one. Oh, it's Ben. Been a while, Ben. Leave me be. I've got nothing to say to the likes of you. Eh? What was that? You think I might have helped kidnap some highborn girl? God's sakes. You and the Omniscient make a fine pair, you two, acting all high and mighty, pretending you care. But the only time you come around is when you're looking for someone to blame. Sorry to disappoint you. But I've got nothing to do with this Ulah's disappearance. If you ask me, you'd have better luck harassing those blue bloods in the pillars. After all, they know better than anyone how to deal with inconveniences, eh? Why are you still here? Haven't you bothered me enough for one day? I guess we have. Until next time. And this one over here. You're not about to ask me to do you a favor, are you? You'll forgive me for being suspicious, but just the other day a man draped from head to toe in fine silks approached me, all nervous and twitching. He tossed a purse at my feet, saying the gill in it was mine for the taking. All I had to do was head to the crozier and buy him a couple of phials of cough syrup. Tempting as it was, I wasn't about to risk getting involved in someone's shady schemes. So I told him to piss off, and that was that. Anyone with an ounce of sense would have done the same. There's always a catch, friend. And for that much gill, I reckon it could have been fatal. And the coughing thing comes back into play. Alright. This guy does deal in rumors, doesn't he? I distinctly recall telling you once that my patrons appreciate their privacy. Never mind, he doesn't actually deal in rumors whatsoever. Still, I know you wouldn't ask if it weren't important, so this time I'll oblige your curiosity. This hasn't got anything to do with your missing girl, mind, but a few days back, this one fellow comes and pays his tab in full. A surprising development, as I'd long since written it off as a loss. Came into money, he says, and has a mind to settle his debts. Pleased as I am by his changing fortunes, all the while I'm wondering who he left bleeding in an alley to get all that much gill at once. Tales of honest men going from rags to riches are just that. Mere fairy tales. He didn't say how he got it, and I didn't ask. It's all coming together. Honestly, I don't remember these quests, like the outcome of these quests that much, just the general vibe. And maybe some of the characters as we talk to them I remember them. But I don't remember things like who the culprit is and who's maybe like the big culprit of everything at the very end of the quest line. But as things unfold, I feel like I'm remembering some plot threads, like who might be involved. Excellent timing, Komori. I have findings to share. With a lost bookmark, or while a lost bookmark, suggests that Volume 11 was within her possession at some point. It does not tell us when that point may have been. With this in mind, I decided to pay a visit to the seminary library. Sure enough, her signature was in the logs, indicating that she was the last person to have borrowed the tome. I compared the handwriting to samples from her old assignments to be sure, and found no irregularities. One might argue that this supports Leverthor's theory, but it is far from conclusive evidence. I suppose you cannot use those vaunted powers of yours. A lot of talking in this. Gotta take a drink. Alright. I suppose you cannot use those vaunted powers of yours to grant us a vision of the past, and spare us further hardships? Yeah, that'd be very, very handy for a detective side quest. But no, that's only for main quest stuff. I thought not. Then we shall rely on more traditional methods. So, what came of your inquiries in the broom? Do tell. Cough syrup. Nothing, but that is to be expected, is it not? Again, I am reminded how ridiculous the two scenarios presented to us, purporting... Wait. Some of these sentences get really long, so I lose track of them pretty early on. Again, I am reminded how ridiculous the two scenarios presented to us, purporting grand conspiracies, truly are. Is it not more likely that both the girl and our combatant are innocent of wrongdoing? We must continue searching for more clues. Even the most insignificant tidbit may be all it takes for the pieces of this puzzle to fall into place. Seeing how reluctant some of the citizens were to answer your questions, I believe it best for me to take over investigations in the broom. As for you, yes, I am given to understand that Blazy and her friends have been conducting their own investigation. Though I am loath to admit it, given the fact that they are seminarians, I should not be surprised if they have noticed something we have overlooked. You may as well go and see what Blazy has learned. If you cannot find her at the Scholasticate, I imagine someone can point you in the right direction. Time is of the essence, Komori, for we still cannot discount the possibility that the girl is in danger. I knew going into this questline that it would be like a lot of talking. I'm still never really prepared for it though. I guess Final Fantasy XIV in general is a lot of talking, like a lot of cutscenes that aren't voiced and all. That's usually interspersed with, well, doing a lot of action, going into dungeons and just kind of vibing with that. And then there are the voice cutscenes and just generally wandering around the world. But then questlines like these are pretty much all dialogue. All unvoiced. Lazy. I haven't seen her all day. Looks like she's gone out again with her friends to look for law. I still don't understand why they bother. The girl's probably off gallivanting about with her heretics and revolutionaries. Even if they find her, I doubt she'll want to return. I'm sorry I could not be of any help. Rest assured, however, that if I do hear aught of Blazy, I shall be sure to tell you. Has she been following Siamacint around like a lost puppy this past fortnight? Find him, and you'll probably find her. That's what I say. Oh, hasn't she? Hasn't she been following Siamacint? I don't know how he puts up with it, frankly. I suppose that, unlike some of the seniors, he's simply too kind for his own good. Siamacint? I haven't the slightest idea where he could be. Oh, what? Was the both of them... Oh, no wait. Oh, what was the both of them working to bring Ulan back? Siamacint and Blazy have had good reason to spend a great deal of time together. These past few days, they've been running around the city making inquiries. I wouldn't be surprised if that's what they were up to today. I feel like this character is right here to make you think, hey, maybe Blazy did it. Maybe she made this one person disappear just to have an excuse to gallivant around with Siamacint. But that's like the biggest red herring in the book, I guess. If it turns out to be true, I guess my face will be red. That is a question I too would like to know the answer to. It feels as though we haven't spoken in ages. I did, however, overhear some of the other seminarians say that they saw Siamacint at the Ark of the Venerable. If so, Blazy is certain to be close by. If you hurry, you might still be able to catch them. Precisely where they might have gone, I cannot say. Mayhap one of the other seminarians might know. Yep, we already asked. Have you or the inspector managed to deduce anything from the book yet? Pray apprise me of your progress when you are able. Of course, I don't know where she is. While I may be in charge of the dormitory, it is not my responsibility to hold the seminarians' hands or work their arses. As you should well know, in light of recent events, a combatant has not the luxury to concern himself with such trivialities. If you're here to ask after another seminarian, allow me to spare you the trouble. I don't know where anyone is or what they might be doing. Good day. Alright, good day. From this far away, that one minion, the Alexander minion, it kind of looked to me like some guy that was crawling around on his arms and legs. Like from a distance. Over there. Seems like our trio is together on this investigation, and yet no Blazy. And you're certain you've seen no one that fits that description? Have you seen a young woman, small of stature, with auburn hair and pale blue eyes? 'Tis a wonderful evening to enjoy a spot of reading outdoors, which I dare say it's nearly as lovely as you. Why, I dare say it's nearly as lovely as you, my fair lady. Do you often come here to study? Oh no, there's Blazy. She's not helping, she's just pining, from a distance. You startled me. I'm here for a law's sake, lest you wonder. This is all part of my investigation, I swear. Wait, you are not a seminarian? And yet you seem so familiar. Ah, I know. You're my brother's associate. Brother? Oh. I should have known. The glasses. By brother, you mean... My apologies, Mistress Komori. I suppose we have yet to be properly introduced. I'm Blazy, Briardian's younger sister. It is a pleasure to finally meet you. They were holding on to that one since, like, patch 3.1. In this episode, we moved, from the patch 3.1 quest to the patch 3.2 quest, and that would have been, months and months of waiting. And you just, as a player, were maybe supposed to, I don't know, deduce that she would have been Briardian's sister based on her glasses, maybe, and the hair color. Just like that one other guy. But yeah, you could have done it if you were a player that was really keen of eye or something. And also, I guess the B name, yeah. A lot of things just kind of line up. So he sent you to see what I've learned. Then I'm afraid you'll be disappointed. I spent all day questioning merchants, watchmen, and random passers-by, and they told me absolutely nothing of interest. I recorded their statements for good measure. Quite honestly, it was a waste of ink and paper. Brazy, what are you doing here? Not Brazy, Blazy. I'm mixing Briardian and Blazy. Theo, I fancy meeting you here. I was just taking a moment to review these testimonies I had taken and thought to, Ah, but of course. You then thought to come and share your findings with us. Yeah, everyone's laughing. Everyone knows, except these guys. Yes, that's it. While it might be a bit much, I wanted to make sure I did not omit a single word. By the Fury, Blazy, this is over 100 films long. I cannot even begin to imagine the amount of work it took to organize all this information. It's incredibly heartening to know that there are others as dedicated as us to seeing Olaf returned. Now, let's have a look, shall we? Investigation Log Entry 1. Master of Ishgardian Markets, Mistress Elise. Problems... Wait. I guess that's like a break in the law, not the same sentence. Master of Ishgardian Markets, Mistress Elise. Problems? Well, with this recent run of bad weather, we've had plenty. Why, just the other day my back started to give me trouble again, and I've had to hobble from place to place. Investigation Log Entry 2. As for Tom Stewart, Honor Roll. There's Honor Roll. I cannot guarantee that this news will be of great interest to you and yours, but a 12-point proposal for the reformation of the Inquisition has recently been tabled by Lord Artoirel of the House of Lords. Investigation Log Entry 10. Weaponsmith Albert. Ever since the Blue Bastard and his lapdog put an end to the war, profits have plummeted. I've had to sell my best stock for a fraction of its worth just to make ends meet. Investigation Log Entry 21. Carvery, Mestano. I've barely enough time to fill my customers' orders, much less keep an eye out for foolish... God damn it, Theo, that's enough. None of that rubbish is even remotely relevant. Now, don't you think you're being a touch too hasty? We've not gotten even a third of the way through. We may yet learn something of value. Let's not dismiss Blazy's hard work out of hand. But thank you, Theo, for your kind words. I'm glad you think it may be of use. Fine, let us briefly entertain this thought, and say that something in these notes will help us find Ola. How exactly do you propose that we determine what that is? We needn't do a thing. For though we may lack the skill to discern the relevant information, or the relevant from the mundane, a certain inspector we know and love is a dab hen at such things, no? But of course, Inspector Biodian, brilliant idea, Kremavor. Komoy, if you would, take this scroll to him and see what he can make of it. Okay, sure, let's make him do all the work. I doubt even he could make heads or tails of this rubbish. In any event, it's out of our hands. We should continue with our search. Okay. And the search for the missing girl will continue in the next episode, I guess. We'll just make our way over to Biodian and close out the episode. Although, I guess before Komoy hands over this list to Inspector Biodian, she's gonna have a look herself. Maybe try to see if she can't solve the mystery before the Inspector does. But given her somewhat middling reading skills, it might take her a while. Now would be a good time to take a break.